When Texas joined the United States in 1845, the state limited the right to vote to white males. Important aspects of the history of the Lone Star State is the story of the efforts of women and minority group members to gain the right to vote and participate meaningfully in Texas politics. The women's rights movement nationally began in the 1840s as an offshoot of the abolition movement. The abolition movement was the political reform movement in the early 19th century whose goal was the elimination of slavery. On July 19th and 20th, 1848, a women's rights forum known as the Seneca Falls Convention was held in Seneca Falls, New York. The meeting was organized by local Quaker women and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, who was not a Quaker, and its attendees included Frederick Douglass, the great 19th century African-American social reformer, and Lucretia Mott, the renowned Quaker orator. The purpose of the convention was to discuss the legal status and rights of women in the United States. The convention produced the famous Declaration of Sentiments and a series of resolutions, including a hotly debated resolution concerning women's suffrage rights, that is, the right to vote for women. The success of the Seneca Falls Convention led to annual women's rights conferences until 1861, when the Civil War broke out. In 1869, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony formed the National Women's Suffrage Association. The primary goal of the organization was to achieve voting rights for women by means of a congressional amendment to the Constitution. On December 10, 1869, Wyoming became the first state to grant women the right to vote. In 1890, the National Women's Suffrage Association and the American Women's Suffrage Association merged to form the National American Women's Suffrage Association. As the movement's mainstream organization, it waged a state-by-state campaign to obtain voting rights for women. In Texas, the drive for women's suffrage picked up steam with the founding of the Texas Suffrage Association in 1903. In 1918, the Texas legislature approved a law allowing women to vote in primary elections. The following year, the United States Congress proposed an amendment to the United States Constitution granting women the right to vote. Texas was the first southern state to ratify the amendment, so it became law in Texas in 1920.